What is up everybody, welcome back to World of Tanks. I am back with yet another World of Tanks news episode, and in today's episode I am going to talk about patch 9.19.1. So seems like the next patch is not going to be 9.20, but it is going to be a little bit smaller patch, maybe a 9, 19 and 1. But if we are going to receive some of those new vehicles as well that I am going to talk about in today's episode, then this patch is actually quite decent, size-wise at least. We have a lot of topics to talk about, for example training ground, personal missions, personal combat missions, matchmaker is going to be improved once again. For example, artilleries are able to platoon once again, but only one RT per platoon. This is pretty good news for some of you, I believe. Some new HD quality models, for example Churchill gun carrier. What an amazing tank this is, right guys? Some updates to the female crew voices that are going to sound a lot better. They actually reworked some of the phrases on some nations, so it should be a lot better. Hopefully some new vehicles as well, for example tier 10 Chinese heavy tank WZ1115A, Tiger 217, AMX Canon TSO 105 and our first Polish tank as well, which is tier 6 premium medium tank Pudel. And finally, super good news for all the Chinese tank players, 121 and 113 are going to receive gun reparation buff, which is going to make 113 especially a lot better, and of course 121 as well, because it is quite significant buff. So we have a lot of topics to talk about. Let's start from the beginning, of course. And once again, huge shout out to the Harkonnen from the dailybounce.net blog for providing us this information. There is going to be new battle training mode called Training Ground. That is going to replace the existing battle training in the game that we have in the game at the moment. Simply put, it is going to teach newer players, or maybe some of the older players as well, how this game works, how to move, how to shoot, how the visibility system works, how the spotting system works, how to buy tanks, how to sell tanks, how to buy equipment and what equipment does, and so on. Everything is going to be explained in that new Training Ground training mode. So I believe it is going to be really helpful for newer players. It will be available for new players when they first log in. They should see a pop-up screen, and if you press escape it should be under there as well. As I said, super helpful for new players and super helpful for older players as well, because some people really, they have to learn how the spotting system works, how the camo system works, how the visibility works, because clearly not every single player knows how this works. Even in tier 10 I have seen that when I use double push action with my DDs or light tanks or medium tanks, even when I shoot enemy tanks without getting spotted, because I used that push mechanic, camo mechanic that we have in the game, you are going to see messages like cheater, I am going to send this video to Wargaming, reported, yada yada yada. So hopefully this training ground is going to be more informative than the battle training that we have in the game at the moment. That pretty much shows you how to move your ASDW keys, or how to press them, and maybe some other things as well, how to shoot on the move and how to get behind tanks, and maybe if I remember correctly. But moving on into the next topic, which is personal combat missions. Wargaming is going to rework some of the personal combat missions because of the changes to the new matchmaker. And Wargaming received a lot of feedback from players, and they are going to tune some of those missions that were getting ridiculously hard, especially trying to get that object to 6-0. Sadly, at the moment I have no idea what kind of missions they are talking about, but I have to say this is really good news, because thanks to the new matchmaker, some of those missions were super RNG dependent missions. Let's say missions like where you had to kill 2 enemy heavy tanks that are 1 tier higher or 2 tiers higher than you. For example, let's say you are playing with tier 9 tank and you have to kill 2 heavy tanks that are 1 tier higher than you. Usually matchmaking is going to give you light tanks, medium tanks, destroyers and heavy tanks, and most often than not you are not even going to see 2 enemy heavy tanks on the enemy side that are 1 tier higher than you. So It was getting super frustrating, and luckily Wargaming is working on fixing that problem. And moving on, once again, next topic is going to be matchmaker. They are going to improve the new matchmaker once again. This time they are trying to make matchmaking more equal. Seems like Wargaming is trying to completely balance the matchmaking. At the moment what we have is, let's say our team has a tier 10 light tank, and on the enemy side, to compensate having one light tank on our side, enemy team gets tier 8 light tank. So tier 10 light tank versus tier 8 light tank. But after this improvement, balance improvement, if we have tier 10 light tank, enemy team should have tier 10 light tank as well. And hopefully this is going to sort out the problem when one team has artillery and the other team doesn't. I have seen many battles like that myself as well. We have tier 10 artillery, enemy team doesn't have any artillery action, so this can be a frustrating thing as well. And talking about the artillery, you can now invite one SBT to the platoon. Not more than one. This is going to help out to grind with the artillery, and from now on it also helps you to get your marks on the artillery, because Wargaming is going to improve crew stunning mechanics as well. From now on, damage done by allies to the targets that you stunned is going to be calculated towards Mark of Excellence. At the moment, you stun the targets, you do some work, you see the stun numbers racking up, but the only thing you get is some extra experience, I believe. But after this patch, it goes towards Mark of Excellence together with the assistance damage and damage caused directly to the enemy vehicles. So it is going to be a lot easier to get your marks on artilleries, because stun damage is the biggest damage, or one of the biggest damage at the moment you can do with the artilleries. Next up, we have some new HD quality tanks coming in, for example SU-8 or SU-26. M3 Stuart is also going to be in HD quality from now on. M4 A3 E8 Sherman, aka Easy 8, is now in HD quality. M36 Jackson, AMX 13 F3 AM, AMX 105 AM MLE 47, AMX 105 AM MLE 50 in HD quality, Lorraine 39A, Lorraine 39L AM, Panzerkampfwagen 4 Hydrostat, D1 in HD quality, hooray, this is what we have been looking for, a Universal Carrier 2-pounder in HD quality, and Churchill Gun Carrier, can't be mad. And then there is me waiting for Badger 25T's HD quality, waiting for STB1's HD quality, waiting for a lot of tanks in HD quality, but D1, at least we have this going for us, which is nice, of course. Wargaming is going to update the female crew voice recording, because, yes, let's be honest over here, they were completely muffled, complete garbage. Simply put, bad. I wasn't able to hear anything what they said, something like this is pretty much how it sounds at the moment, but for example, the Chinese female voiceover has been completely rewritten in a new voice and in the necessary dialect. Russian female voiceovers have also been updated, some phrases were rewritten, and by the numerous requests of the players. The effect of a walkie-talkie for female voiceover was reworked. Hopefully they sound a lot better from now on. But next up, let's talk about some of the new vehicles that should be here soon. I do not know exactly when, hopefully some of them are going to be here with the next patch, with this patch 9.19.1, but some of them maybe in 9.20 or 9.19.2. First vehicle is going to be Tier 10 Chinese heavy tank WZ-1115A. I am going to talk more about this vehicle in my next episode, because I believe we have to get a little bit deeper into this one, because it is a tier 10 vehicle and seems like it is going to be tier 10 vehicle on Detectory or in Detectory, because this tank will be available through WZ111 Model 14. Seems like we are getting 2 tier 10 Chinese heavy tanks in this game, 113 that we have at the moment, and this one as well, so I am excited. Tiger 217 is added to the game client. Also, Super Test players are testing out this tank, and French tier 8 premium tank destroyer AMX Canon TSO 105 was added into the Super Test server. I already made my first preview episode about this tank. If you would like to see that episode, link is going to be in the description. Next up, soon we will get our first Polish tank in this game, at least the first tank with Polish flag from the get-go. Added premium tier 6 medium tank called Pudel, captured German Panther G. It looks exactly like Panther, so yes, captured German Panther G. And this is this is going to be our first Polish tank, but keep in mind the Polish nation will not be added to the research tree as of now. So Wargaming is doing the exact same thing as they did with the Swedish Detectory. At first, before releasing the Detectory, they released one tier 6 premium medium tank. Copy-paste, right. Polish national crew will appear in the game with titles, badges and rank details, and also with special camouflages, emblems, inscriptions and new national equipment, premium food called bread with smolts. Okay, did I pronounce it correctly? Bread with smolts or something like that. So yeah, first Polish tank, tier 6 premium medium tank, and I am also going to make separate video just for that tank, because we have to get a little bit deeper to see what this tank is all about, if this tank is going to be worth it, and so on. And finally, changes to the tank parameters. Chinese tanks 121 and 113, 121, 113 are going to receive gun depression buffs. 121's gun depression is increased from minus 3.5 degrees to minus 5 degrees. On paper, yes, it is only minus 1.5 degrees of difference, but believe me guys, for this tank, this buff is huge, especially for the maps that we have in World of Tanks at the moment. 121 with minus 5 degrees of gun depression is going to be a lot more agile tank, believe me. And 113's gun depression is increased from minus 5 degrees to minus 7 degrees. 113 is super awesome tank already, is played in clan wars a lot, in tournaments a lot and so on. And this tank receiving extra 2 degrees of gun depression is just thumbs ups from me, because I'm grinding towards 113 at the moment as well. And when we have a second tier 10 heavy tank, Chinese heavy tank in the game as well, then I am even more happy that I decided to go for 113, because I have heard WZ111 Model 14 is a super awesome tier 9 heavy tank, and grinding out 2 tanks with super awesome tier 9 heavy tank is no problem for me. And guys, I believe that is it from me for now. Wargaming should release one official article about the 9.19.1 Super Test as well. If I have any more information, of course, I am going to let you guys know. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope it was informative and someone is trying to break in. It feels like it or sounds like it. So you have to check it out, what is going on. Thank you for watching. If I'm still alive, if those guys are not going to do something crazy, then I get you next time, tomorrow. Take care and bye.